Hello children, welcome back to the physics class. So today we are going to discuss or move into a new chapter. So far we have completed few chapters. What are the chapters that we have completed so far? Chapter 1, force, and then we saw chapter 3, machines. Then we finished discussing or learning chapter 7, sound. Today we are going to start new chapter, 12th chapter. The name of the chapter, 11th chapter, and the name of the chapter is calorimetry. Why have I chosen 11? Because in the reduced portion, not even a single page has been deleted in this particular chapter. So this chapter you'll have to learn the entire one. No deletion of syllabus in chapter 11, calorimetry. Okay, so we are going to start a fresh new chapter named calorimetry. What is meant by calorimetry? Calorimetry means when you are measuring the quantity of heat, the amount of heat is measured. This measurement is called as calorimetry. So what do you mean by calorimetry? The amount of the quantity of heat or the measurement of the quantity of heat is called as calorimetry. So in this chapter, what are we going to learn about? We are going to learn about heat and how it can be measured. So whenever I say heat, there are certain few other words which will come to your mind. So we are going to learn each of them one after the other. So in this particular session, video session, we will be discussing about heat, what is heat, the characters of heat and the units of heat. And then we will discuss about temperature, units of temperature, and what is the difference between heat and temperature. So far we always think that heat and temperature are the same, but it is not. They are very different. And then we are going to learn about heat capacity, specific heat capacity, their SI units, and the difference between heat capacity and specific heat capacity. Okay, we will move into the chapter. Before we could learn more about heat, there are certain things which we have to learn and understand. Not every body is hot. Certain bodies, when you touch, they are cold. And if you touch few other bodies, they are hot. For example, you take a fridge. You go, open the fridge and touch inside the fridge, it will be very cold. But when you touch the back or side of the fridge, it will be, yes, it will be quite hot or sometimes very hot, sometimes warm. So there is change in temperature. You can see a hot body or a cold body. What exactly is the reason for this heat? We know that heat is form of energy. This is something you know. Heat is a form of energy, light is a form of energy, sound is a form of energy. What is the reason behind this energy? Why or how is this heat produced? As you can see here, you can see a lot of small balls moving here and there. Consider each of these balls as the molecule of a substance. Okay, every substance is made up of atoms and molecules. And these molecules are not at rest. They are moving. In a solid, they move a little. In gas, they move a lot. Okay, this uh, molecules as they move, what happens? They are moving because they have some energy. If they don't have energy, they cannot move. So the internal energy of all molecules of a substance is called its heat energy. The molecules are moving because they have some energy. So each molecule will have a energy. So if I happen to add the energy of every molecule, I will get the heat energy of that particular substance. Okay. So what is heat? It is the total internal energy of all the molecules in a substance. Okay, what do you mean by internal energy? Internal energy means it is nothing but kinetic energy plus potential energy. So, internal energy is a sum of kinetic energy and potential energy. So, whether the molecule is at rest, it will have a potential energy. If the molecule is moving, it will have kinetic energy. So the sum of total internal energy means it is the sum of the kinetic energy and the potential energy of the molecules in a substance. So again, we'll just read the total internal energy of all molecules of the substance is called as its heat energy. So now you know what is heat energy and you also know what is internal energy. I believe you know what is kinetic energy and potential energy. Kinetic energy means the energy possessed by an object by the virtue of its motion. Potential energy, virtue of its position. Okay, so we know that heat is a form of energy and the total internal energy of all the molecules is what we call it as the heat energy of that particular substance. Okay, how does this flow? We know whenever there is an energy, energy flows from one to another. There is always a flow of energy. Where does this heat energy flow and how does it flow? For example, if you see a river, we know how a river flows, right? A river flows, or forget a river, you have a mug of water. You have a mug of water. You pour it. How will it go from top to bottom? It will go like this. So we know how things flow when it comes to a liquid or a gas. How does heat flow? The heat flows from a hotter body to a colder body, but it will happen only when the bodies are in contact with each other. For example, you have a fridge or you imagine an ice cube. The ice cube is on the table and you are sitting in the another corner of the room. Ice cube has certain cold temperature, your body is warm. So you both are not in contact. So what will not happen? The flow of heat will not happen. Now imagine that you are holding the ice cube in your hand. If you are holding your ice cube in your hands, what does it mean? The ice cube is in contact with your body. When the ice cube is in contact with your body, what will happen? The temperature, there will be a flow of heat from the hot body to the cold body. So your hotness will flow to the ice cube and it will make the ice cube to melt. Or in other words, you can also say the kinetic energy due to the random motion of the molecules. As we know earlier, you also have learnt about this. Whenever you heat something, what will happen? Expansion happens. So whenever expansion happens, what happens to the density? Density decreases. When density decreases, the space between the molecules will increase. Imagine here if all these molecules are put in a very small box, do you think they'll be able to move much? No, because they don't have much space. So when I heat that small box, what happened? That small box has expanded. Because I heated, it has expanded and it became so big. So they have more, these molecules have more space to move. So when they have more space to move, they can move very faster. They will collide with each other. Colliding is hitting each other and they keep on moving. So what happens? The kinetic energy increases. So the kinetic energy due to the random motion of the substance is known as the heat energy. Every body has a heat energy because every body has internal energy, whether in the form of a kinetic energy or a potential energy. Every body has a heat energy. So you know what is heat? The direction of flow of heat is always from a hot body to a cold body. And the heat is due to the kinetic energy or the movement of the particles in a substance. Well, so knowing what is heat, the definition of heat, now we have to learn the unit of heat. What is the unit of heat? It is joule. In short, we will write it as J. The other unit of heat is calorie or kilocalorie. Calorie and kilocalorie are like meters and kilometers. 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. 1 kilometer is equal to 1000 meters. So the relation between calorie and kilocalorie are same. 1 kilocalorie is equal to 1000 calories. But if I want to write calories in terms of joules, 1 calorie is equal to 4.816 joules. Or you can just round them up and you can write it as 4.2 joules. Okay, this is like meters and centimeters. You know, 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. Similarly, 1 calorie is equal to 4.2 joules. So these are certain things which you have to understand and remember. See, in this session, you are going to learn so many definitions. So I want you to write down all the definitions and learn. You cannot write the definitions on your own. You have to understand it and use the exact words that are in the definition. And you cannot change the units also. So learn them well. You know, joule is a unit of energy. You have been learning that for few years now. The new thing that you are learning is calorie. Where have you seen this word calorie before? Run to the kitchen or to the fridge and see whether you have any chocolates in your house. Okay, take that. It need not be a chocolate, any cold drinks, like if you have a Tang or anything, any packed food item, chips packet, of course, you're right. See, there will be a word called calorie at the back. Okay, and here we are using heat has a unit and the name of the unit is calorie. Now this is your assignment which you are going to text me personally to my personal number. Last time I had few children very genuinely submit the assignment and they informed me. I'm very happy. But when I see how many people have seen this video, the number is reducing day by day. I want you to listen to the video again and again, understand properly, and finish your notes. Okay, now the question that I'm asking you is, what is the difference between the calorie that is behind or written on the packet of any food item? You should eat 2000 calories a day. What is the is that calorie and the unit of heat same or different? And what's the difference? Okay, find me and tell me. Okay, the unit of heat is calorie. What is a calorie? You will have a definition for it. So the definition is, a calorie is the heat energy required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water through 1 degree Celsius. A calorie is an amount of heat. Okay, you need an amount of heat. You have a cup. Okay, see this cup. In order to fill this cup, you need certain amount of water. Okay, similarly, you have 1 gram of water. Imagine this 1 gram of water is in some 10 degrees Celsius temperature. You have to increase that 1 gram of water which has 10 degrees Celsius to 11 degrees Celsius. In order to increase 1 degree Celsius, you will need certain amount of heat, and that amount of heat is called as the calorie. Okay, so a calorie is the heat energy required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water through 1 degree Celsius. But there is a unique quality of water, and water undergoes an non-uniform thermal expansion. When I say 1 degree, it could be from 0 degree to 1 degree, 4 degrees to 5 degrees, or 99 degrees to 100 degree. It could be any of that 1 degree. But this water has a very peculiar character called non-uniform thermal expansion. What is that? Non-uniform thermal expansion. So this 1 degree Celsius is not a very good form of defining a calorie. Okay, it has a water has a character of non-uniform thermal expansion, because for one temperature water will expand, for another temperature water will compress. Okay, for increase in temperature there should always be an expansion, but in the case of water, for an increase in temperature water will compress. For compressing it will expand. Sorry. Okay, the place where the water has to compress it will expand. So this non-uniform thermal expansion of water, because of this, we are changing the definition. What is the definition? Is same thing. The calorie is the heat energy required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water from 14.5 degrees to 15.5 degrees. We are simply removing this through 1 degree Celsius. We are removing this common thing and we are specifying the temperature from 14.5 degrees Celsius to 15.5 degrees Celsius. Now you know what is heat. You know what are the units for heat. What is the relation between a joule and a calorie. And you know the definition for calorie. What is meant by kilocalorie? Very good. 1 kilocalorie is equal to 1000 calorie. And if you want to write it in terms of joule, you can write it as 4200 joule. So when I was explaining a calorie, I said it is the amount of heat energy required to increase the temperature of 1 gram of water. So calorie ka 1 gram. So if I say kilocalorie, I will call it as kilogram of water. So simple. So what is the definition? 1 kilocalorie is the heat energy required to raise the temperature of 1 kilogram of water from 14.5 degrees to 15.5 degrees. Okay, so we've finished learning about heat and its unit. So we are going to move to the next topic, temperature. What do you mean by temperature? So far, I thought heat and temperature are same, but now you're learn. Now I came to know that heat and temperature are different. You may think all these thoughts might go in your mind. Heat is different. Temperature is the measure of hotness or coldness of a body. How hot the object is or how cold the object is. That measure of the hotness or coldness of the body is what you call it as temperature. Okay. What is the direction of flow of heat? Heat always flows from hotter bodies to colder bodies. So what will be the temperature of a hotter body? The temperature of the hotter body will be high. What will be the temperature of the colder body? The temperature of the colder body will be low. So the heat flows from higher temperature to lower temperature. Okay, what is temperature? Temperature is nothing but the measure of hotness or coldness of the body. Temperature is nothing but the hotness or coldness of the body. And now you learned earlier about heat. Now we are learning about temperature. The flow of heat is from a higher temperature to lower temperature. Always from a hot body to low cold body. Okay. Temperature is a quantity or the quantity of heat in a body not only depends upon the temperature but also on few other factors. For example, imagine there are two people, okay? They don't, both of them don't have fever. They are very perfectly fine and they're all right. You are going to check the temperature of both the people. Do you think that they will have 98.6 exactly? Definitely not. One person's temperature will be like 98. The other person's temperature will be like 98.5. The other person's temperature will be like 97, or I have experienced a temperature of 94 sometimes. But I was perfectly all right. I'm not feeling cold or I'm not feeling sick. Why is that the body temperature changes from one person to another person? Because their body condition is different. Even in animals, you've learnt about cold body and hot body animals, cold blooded and hot blooded animals. So there are certain different things. So imagine I have a cup full of hotness. So it's just an imagination, okay? I have heat, 1 cup of heat. Imagine that you're cooking, okay? You have 1 cup of heat. You're going to add that 1 cup of heat to sand. Okay, it's just an imagination. You have, we'll take two things. You have a cup of sand and you have a cup of water. Okay, and now I have cup of heat. Both are same sized. I'm giving this 1 cup of heat. I'm going to give this 1 cup of heat both the heat is of same quantity. Okay, I'm giving it to water and to sand. Okay, I'm giving equal amount of heat to water and sand. Do you think they both will get heated the same? No. One will have an increase in 2 degree temperature degree Celsius. The other will have an increase of 5 degrees Celsius. Right? It's different. You are giving same amount of heat to two different substances. So the two different substances will have two different temperatures because of this heat that you are giving. So the temperature not only depends upon the heat, quantity of heat, it also depends upon the mass and the material of the substance. So totally the heat, the quantity of heat, okay, temperature depends upon three factors. What are the three factors? Temperature depends upon quantity of heat, temperature depends upon the mass of the substance, and temperature depends upon the material of the substance. So temperature of a substance depends on three factors: quantity of heat, mass, and the material of the substance. What are the units of temperature? You know this. We don't have to spend much time on this. The SI unit of temperature is Kelvin. The other units in which we measure temperature are degree Celsius and degree Fahrenheit. In the earlier case, we learned the relation between joule and calorie. 1 calorie is equal to 4.2 joule. Similarly, here we are learning the relation between Kelvin, degree Celsius and degree Fahrenheit. See, whether you are given in Kelvin, you can convert it to Celsius or Fahrenheit. If your value is given in Fahrenheit, you can convert it to Celsius or Kelvin. Okay. So these are the formulas. So make note of all these formulas. You will have to solve problems using these formulas. We will move to the next important topic. Factors affecting the quantity of heat absorbed to increase the temperature of the body. So in the previous case, I told you temperature depends upon the amount of or the quantity of heat. Temperature depends upon mass of the substance and temperature depends upon material of the substance. Now we are going to see whether it is directly proportional or inversely proportional. Okay. But here we are going to see how the quantity of heat. Okay. Imagine you have a cup of heat. Just an imagination. You cannot have heat in a cup. Okay. You have a cup of heat and you're going to give that heat to two different substances. Okay. Okay. See here. We'll start with mass. You have in this picture, you can see two different iron balls. Let's consider this to be 200 grams and this to be some 20 grams. Okay. I have a cup of heat. I'm going to give that cup of heat to this 200-gram ball and I'm going to give 1 cup of heat to this 20-gram iron ball. Which one do you think will have a high temperature? Of course, the small one. Since it is small, it needs less amount of heat. If it is big, it needs more amount of heat. I want to heat this ball to 100 degrees Celsius. I say use the amount of heat you want, but bring it to 100 degrees Celsius. Which one do you think will require more uh, heat? Or imagine you have two big containers. One container is in one container is to the size of you, and the other container to the size of your school bag. Okay. So which one needs more water to fill in? The size which the container which is in your size needs more water. The container which is in the size of your school bag needs less water. Similarly, when you have object of higher mass, it wants higher amount of heat. Object with lower mass requires lower amount of heat. So Q is directly proportional to M. That is The amount of heat required is directly proportional to m. The greater the mass, the greater the heat required. The less the mass, the less the heat required. We'll move on to the next one. Okay, we are moving on to the second case. How much heat is required for increasing the temperature? Okay, it's very simple. Imagine the temperature is 100 degrees. Okay, imagine the temperature is 100 degrees. You have to increase the temperature from 100 to 200 degrees. Okay, for increasing the temperature from 100 to 200 degrees, you need certain amount of heat. Now I'm going to ask you another question. How much of heat will you require to heat the substance from 100 to 120 degrees? Okay, listen carefully. You're going to compare. You have a cup of water. You have a big bowl of water. You're going to heat that water from 100 degrees to 200 degrees. And you have to heat the water from 100 degrees to 120 degrees. Which one will require more heat? From 100 to 200. Which will require less heat? From 100 to 120. So, the amount of heat required depends upon the change in temperature. If I want to increase 100 degrees Celsius, I need more heat. If I have to increase 20 degrees Celsius, I need less heat. So it's understood. So this del T here means change in temperature. Okay. So the amount of heat required is directly proportional to the change in temperature. And of course, it also depends upon the material. You have a clay pot and you have iron pot. Which do you think will get heated very quickly? Starting initial stage, iron pot will get heated very quickly. Clay pot will take time to get heated. So, the factors affecting the quantity of heat absorbed to increase the temperature of a body depends upon the mass of the body. It depends upon how much temperature you want to increase, and then it also depends upon the material of the substance. So you learnt about heat, its unit, temperature and its unit. What is the difference between heat and temperature? First, their definitions are very different because one is the total internal energy, heat. Temperature, it is just a measure of hotness or coldness of the body. Their units are very different. And the amount of heat contained in a body depends upon mass, temperature and the substance. Whereas temperature, it depends upon the kinetic energy of the molecules. How will you measure heat? You will be using an instrument called calorimeter. In order to measure temperature, we will simply need a thermometer. So, in these ways, there are so many differences between heat and temperature. Heat is a source of or it's a form of energy, whereas temperature is the measure of the hotness or coldness of the substance. Now we are going to move on to certain very important definitions. The first definition, heat capacity. Heat and thermal are same meaning. So I can call it as heat capacity or thermal capacity, but in your book it is given as heat capacity. What is heat capacity? The amount of heat required to raise the temperature of a body by 1 degree Celsius is called as heat capacity. What was the definition you learned for calorie? The amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water through 1 degree Celsius, or 1 gram of water from 14.5 degree to 15.5 degree Celsius. But here, see, there's a small change in the definition. It is not water, it is a body. So what do you mean by this? Every single substance will have a different heat capacity. Iron has a different heat capacity. Wood has a different heat capacity. Gold has a different heat capacity. Sand has a different heat capacity. Every metal has the unique heat capacity of its own. Okay. Imagine you have a piece of wood. You have to increase the temperature from 45 degrees Celsius to 55 degrees Celsius. You require some heat. You have a piece of iron. You have to increase the temperature from 45 degrees to 55 degrees Celsius. The amount of heat you used for wood and the amount of heat you used for iron will be very different. And this shows they have different heat capacity. And this heat capacity is denoted by C dash. Okay, this is what you call it as a C dash. How do we measure heat capacity? The heat capacity is measured by the amount of heat supplied divided by rise in temperature. The amount of heat supplied is the amount of heat that you give to raise the temperature, and the rise in temperature is 1 degree Celsius. Okay. So how do you find the unit for heat capacity? Simply substitute the units for these values. Heat supplied, what is the unit for heat? Very good, joules. Joule. What is the unit for temperature? Kelvin or degree Celsius. So your SI unit will be joule per Kelvin or joule per degree Celsius. You learnt about heat capacity. Heat capacity is the amount of heat you need to raise the temperature of a body from through 1 degree Celsius. What is specific heat capacity? You learnt about heat capacity, but you are going specific about something. What is that? The new word that you have here is a unit mass. Same definition, but only difference in this word, the unit mass. The quantity of energy or heat energy needed to increase the temperature of a unit mass of substance. In the earlier case, we learnt about body. It could be 100 kilogram or 200 kilogram, but here it is unit mass, 1 kg of a substance by 1 Kelvin or 1 degree Celsius. Okay. So every substance has a unique heat capacity. So similarly, every substance will have a unique heat capacity. So one example is given here. The specific heat capacity of liquid water is 4.8 joule per gram Kelvin, unit mass. So who comes here? Gram. The unit for mass also comes. So we'll just compare and learn heat capacity and specific heat capacity. What is heat capacity? It is heat required for an object to raise the temperature by 1 degree Celsius. What is specific heat capacity? Heat required for a unit mass to raise the temperature by 1 degree Celsius. So here the formula was change amount of heat required by temperature. But here you are bringing in one extra character called mass, unit mass. So that unit mass comes to the denominator. So your formula for specific heat capacity is del Q by del T M. So you will have to include the SI unit for everything. SI unit for heat is joule. SI unit of temperature is Kelvin. And the SI unit of mass is kilogram. So your unit for specific heat capacity is joule per kilogram Kelvin. Here we learnt about the formula for heat capacity and specific heat capacity. Now we are trying to derive a formula for the quantity of heat from the previous formula, that is from specific heat capacity. What is the formula? C is equal to Q by del T by M. What do we want? We want Q. So we will take all the denominators to the other side. So if I take all the denominators to the other side, what will happen to the formula? It becomes Q is equal to M, Cp is specific heat capacity, into del T. This triangle T is called as del T. Whenever we put a triangle, we call it as del. Del means small value. Okay, a small change in temperature, a small amount of heat. So a small value we will put it as del T. So Q is equal to M Cp del T. Cp is specific heat capacity. What is the unit for this Q? We know it is calorie. What is the unit for M? T. Very good. I know you know the units for all these quantities now. Now we'll see what is the difference between heat capacity and specific heat capacity. Very good. In one you include mass, in the other you don't include mass. So one is independent of mass and the other one is dependent on mass. And their formulas change, and of course their units also change. We saw that specific heat capacity and heat capacity are different, but they are also related. What is the relation between heat capacity and specific heat capacity? Specific heat capacity is equal to heat capacity divided by M. Okay. I can cross multiply and I can also write it like this. Heat capacity is equal to mass into specific heat capacity. So this is the relation between heat capacity and specific heat capacity. So don't get confused. We have learned only four definitions today. What is heat? What is temperature? What is heat capacity? What is specific heat capacity? And also you learned another definition for a calorie, and we have discussed about the units for everything. Okay, so children, since you have so many definitions, we'll stop here for now. Try to recall everything. What is heat? Heat is related to kinetic energy of the molecule. What is the SI unit of heat? Joule and calorie. What is temperature? Measure of hotness or coldness. What is the SI unit of temperature? Kelvin. And temperature and heat have so many differences between them. Thermal and heat are quite the same word. So you can call it as thermal capacity or heat capacity is the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of a body through 1 degree Celsius. Unit of thermal unit of heat capacity, you can write the formula and you can derive the unit. C dash is equal to del Q by del T, that is joule per Kelvin. What is specific heat capacity? What are you more specific about? The mass. In heat capacity, you are not defining the mass at all. Here, in specific heat capacity, you are specifically saying that you have a unit mass. And then we learnt about difference between heat capacity and specific heat capacity. Okay, children, I want you to go through the video again and again if it's needed, or if you could understand in the very first time, that it's fine. I've given you one assignment that you have to submit to me personally, that is difference between the unit of heat calorie and the calorie that's given at the back of every single packed food item. And I also want you to submit the notes for all these. There are only few people who have finished the previous assignment. I'll be posting the screenshot of those who have completed by tomorrow maybe. I want you all to understand, write all the definitions and post it in the Google Classroom without fail. So may God be with you and guide you, and may God fill you with wisdom and help you to understand all the subjects well. Thank you, children. Take care.